Today's initiative from the left in the European Parliament comes at a very crucial moment for Europe. As we commemorate 80 years after the victory against fascism, we see the extreme right returning, not just in society, but also in government, sometimes guiding and sometimes in alliance with mainstream neoliberal and conservative parties on a national level and in Brussels. The world has faced 15 years of multiple crises, rising inequalities, and we are moving from a unipolar to a multipolar world. It is clear that extreme right forces are taking advantage of the fear and insecurity in our societies from these big changes. It is the responsibility of all progressive and left-wing forces to stand up and face fear with hope and policies of dignity for citizens' lives. We need a global security order based on inclusive, multilateral institutions that confront crises without repeating the terrible mistakes the West has made in the past. A new security order based on respect of international law, not the logic of might makes right or hypocritical double standards. A more equitable economic order that rejects both neoliberal globalization and imperialist deglobalization. But in this multipolar world, there can be no new international order of peace, security, and sustainable growth if Europe is not a force of peace, security, and sustainable growth, not only a force of deterrence. We must stand firmly against a war economy that grows at the expense of our cohesion funds and leads us deeper into a new Cold War. Instead, we must support a productive, sustainable economy that consolidates the single market, promotes convergence, and confronts inequalities, including through European public goods. We must stand against Israeli operations that have led to the death of thousands of civilians in Palestine, and we must call for European sanctions on Israel. We must continue standing against the invasion of Russia and Ukraine and any continuation of this war that has led to the illegal division of the country. Ukraine, Georgia, and Moldova must have a European, not a NATO future ahead of them. We must stand against human rights violation in Turkey and the arrest of Mayor Imamoglu, and make it clear that the EU-Turkey relationship can and should move ahead only on the basis of respect of the rights of all EU member states. We must do all we can for a just and sustainable solution for the Cyprus issue. We also have to support the enlargement of the EU to the Western Balkans. If Europe is not a reliable force in its neighborhood, it cannot be a reliable force anywhere. With the Prespa Agreement, progressive forces proved once again that we are the ones fighting in this direction. Last but not least, in these circumstances, we have to create the broadest possible alliance of progressive forces that confronts the coordination of the extreme right with a movement for democracy and social justice. As we did in Seattle, in Porto Alegre, and in Genoa, as we did against the war in Iraq, or with Occupy Wall Street movement, or the Squares movement of Madrid and Athens. This time, we have the experience of government in Latin America, in Greece, in Cyprus, in Spain and Portugal. And we know much better the struggles we must continue and win. With this thought, I want to thank you very much, and I wish you the best for today's conference.